Satnam, Sasha here, and welcome back to Yoga Books with Sasha. This is a show all about, so I say yoga books, but really anything that's in the realm of spirituality, truth-seeking, understanding how to work with energy. All of those fall in the category of yoga books. And today we're looking at something very interesting. It's called the Moon Sign book. And this is let me not say this wrong, Llewellyn's 2020. It's something that's been published annually since 1905. That's a really long-running book, okay? And that matters for what I'm about to share. Basically, this is a book that's been published for over 100 years, and it always comes out before the new year because it gives farmers information about planting things according to the moon. So that's a lot of this book. It goes into gardening by the moon and then a bunch of moon tables for each week. For each week, there will be a table. So what I just showed was September, August 30th to September 5th. So it's telling you that the moon is going to be in its second quarter on September 1st. The moon's going to be in the sign of Pisces. And it's telling you that you should plant grains, leafy annuals, fertilize, graft or bud plants, irrigate, trim to increase growth. Now, I'm a casual gardener. It's not like my life's work. So I don't understand everything in that. But basically, that's like half this book, right? So it goes into a companion planting guide. Let's look at carrots. Apparently, carrots don't like to be planted near dill or anise. Great, good to know. It's going to tell you what to plant when. So this is talking about watermelon. Plant when the moon is in its first or second quarter and when it's in the sign of Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or Libra. So this is really excellent detailed information. The book also goes into using good timings, right? Making elections. So they call it electional astrology, which is the art of electing or choosing times to begin any undertaking. For example, if you want to start a business, what is going to be that business's birthday and time? That's going to have an influence on the business's personality and how its life unfolds. You know, we're talking about a business and it's something that you're putting your energy into, but it's still something that is going to initiate officially at a certain point. So then it goes into this whole almanac by month. Okay, we're in December. The best days to cut your hair, if you want it to keep growing, is December 15th through 17th, 19, 20, 24, 28. But if you want to cut it and have it stop growing, then you want to look at the beginning of the month, December 4th, 13th, 14th, or at the very end, the 31st. It's really in depth. So I'm just flipping through. This is talking about eyes and eyeglasses. Have your eyes tested and glasses fitted on a day marked favorable for your sun sign and on a day that falls during your favorable lunar cycle. Mars should not be in aspect with the moon. So if you have a glasses appointment, which I actually do have one coming up, I just happened to read this, I wonder if mine is on a favorable day. But our eyes are connected to our whole system, right? So of course there's going to be some impacts on the way the stars and the moon and planets are appearing and affecting us on our eyes, just like on our moods and everything else. So this goes really deep. We're talking about negotiations, picking mushrooms, firing or hiring people, brewing wine, when to wean your children. To wean a child successfully, do so when the moon is in Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, or Pisces, signs that do not rule vital human organs. By observing this astrological rule, much trouble for parents and child may be avoided. It's good to know for the future. Then it goes into again, this is very mathy. You're looking at the moon and you can see these tables are really detailed. So when I got this book, my dad gave me this book at the end of 2019. I was just kind of I don't know if I can use this. Dates to hunt and fish, dates to destroy weeds, right? It's so detailed. So it was a little bit overwhelming and I just kind of was okay. Now, a couple of months ago, I picked this book back up and I was I wonder if this book had anything to say about what we're experiencing, right? We're in a global pandemic. We're in all types of economic distress as far as industries go and individuals. So I was like, why that should have been predicted. In fact, it was. So I'm going to share a little bit today from this book. There's a whole section on economic forecast for 2020. Let's just say it is not looking good. It is perhaps understandable then that 2020 is already being termed, in astrological circles at least, quote, the year of the great financial reset. So it says that when a revised economic history of the world is written, 2020 will warrant an entire chapter of its own. The looming crisis could yet be bigger than the last. By the last, they're speaking of when I graduated college, which was in 2009, the 2007 to 2009 financial crisis. Okay, so continue on with the economic forecasts for 2020. This is talking about the first quarter of the year. It says, it is, however, over 2 centuries since Jupiter and Pluto last made a Capricorn alignment. That's what we were under in the beginning of the year. Though the Constitution of the United States was not signed until 1776, in 1771, as Jupiter and Pluto formed their Capricorn conjunction, the seeds of this national identity were sown. So it says, political developments in 2020 could yet give rise to the formations of other nations and even a revision of the United States. With these geopolitical developments, the stage is set for fast-moving economic development. So we're talking about early March. It says Mercury's direct station coincides with the full moon on March 9th. By then, Mercury will have retrograded back through Pisces into Aquarius, the sign associated with advanced technology. It is entirely possible that pharmaceutical companies, which are linked to Pisces, using advanced technology will have the most volatile share prices through this period. Pisces is also a sign linked to healing, especially mental and spiritual disease. A strong possibility is that there will be much discussion about the therapeutic uses of certain manufactured drugs, and this will impact share prices of those companies manufacturing these. So yeah, global pandemic, we started talking all about technologies and manufactured drugs. It says it seems most likely that 2020 will go down as being one of the most challenging years in economic and financial history. One of the most challenging years ever. There's a printed book that told us before the year started that this year would be remembered as the most challenging year in economic and financial history. Oh la la. So you read this and you're like, oh my gosh, they warned us. It's a hot mess. Oof. Inauguration of the next president. Who knows how that's going to go. Basically, this book is a gem. I plan to buy it next year and actually read it much more closely so that I can be a little more prepared. I do recommend it. It's also cool because it just goes into a bit more of what the moon means to us and for us. So they even talk about using different essential oils, right? There's an essay here, essential oils and the moon, and how during certain phases, you might want something that's more floral, more like tea tree oil, more like eucalyptus, peppermint. It says, as the new moon arrives, enjoy the uplifting properties of citrus, right? So it's a very practical, useful book. Like I said, the whole first half is very heavily into planting and gardening and, again, useful in that way. But this whole second half kind of gets more into a little bit of horoscopes and then also just technologies and how to work with the moon and that energy. So highly recommend the Moon Sign book. If you checked it out and you actually read it ahead of time, then good for you. Like I said, I read it a little bit later into the year, but it still gave me great insights. So I would definitely recommend it. And let me know what you think. My email's below. sashaislive@gmail.com. I always love to connect. Thank you for being here. Why, girl? Why, girl? Why, girl? Why, girl?